Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Are you here with me? I'm going to look around. I got to check it out. I got to look in the chat, see who's here. I hope people are tuning in little by little. That's why we put that countdown in there. So we give you a chance to get inside. Okay? So, what's up, everybody? I'm Sky Deep, and this is my channel. And this is actually the first live video podcast that I've done on this channel. I've definitely done like live premieres of music videos and things like that. And some of you, if you follow the channel, may have seen some of my music production tutorials or music jams, like on synthesizers or on my guitar, or maybe you've seen me messing around in virtual reality playing games. Well, I'm all about all of those things. And especially today, as the title would say there on the screen, right there in front of you, uh, this is about musicians and VR and how we can get into the game and not just get into the game on somebody else's terms, but actually get in there and have a little bit of say ourselves. And how good does it feel when you make your own music and maybe self-release it, or you make your own music video? So anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And it's not just me, it's my friend Kadallah also. And I'm going to bring Kadallah in right now to join us. Say
Hey, how's
hi.
it going?
Hey, what's up, Kadallah?
Hello,
So,
Sky.
yeah,
Hello, Internet.
yeah. We we met in VR, didn't we?
Yeah. I feel like we met, two or three times in VR before we ever did like a video call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was pretty funny
I
because
feel like
I knew
the
what your
first time we
avatar.
ever we
Yeah,
ever met, entered your VR space actually.
right.
During after one of the it premiered in one of the earlier comments.
Yep. Uh,
Yeah.
I had put together, everybody, if you didn't know, I put together sort of this social VR space inside of Mozilla Hub's type. Yeah, I actually can't remember the name of it right now, but the point is I created an exhibition where you could access it via VR, but also on desktop computer. And Kadallah came and visited me there, and it was an event for Common and Currents, which, hey, Kadallah, this event,
Hey, I'm having
yeah,
a little bit of a delay.
I'm hearing a bit of a delay too. Let me check.
Something here. I'm gonna try messaging you on Discord.
I'm hearing a couple of glitches
Hello,
in our
hello.
audio. So everybody out there, if you can hear and see the stream, uh, let us know in the comments if you're hearing everything okay, and if you're not,
Hmm.
let us know too. Otherwise, if you're seeing us on Twitch right now, because we're streaming both to Twitch and to YouTube, then you can write us
Mhm.
there. And I just need to make sure that I have all my chat windows open. So if you're tuning in and watching right now, hey, this is
Hello,
TV
hello.
Magic from the home office. Yeah. So just bear with us for a second because Kadallah is in Kenya, in Nairobi, Kenya, right now, and just arrived there really just a couple of days ago. And we have been trying to sort out some of our internet connection issues of just being in a new location. So, Kadallah, just let me know when you're able to hear me well. But for the moment, I will bring it back to to where we're talking to me right now, and me in the crowd. And while Kadallah gets his issues sorted out with the web, then I will talk to you for a second. But first, I'm just gonna check in on the Twitch chat and see if everything is healthy with the feed. I do see that just had a new uh, subscriber, which was nice on YouTube that just came through. So that was cool. And I do see that our chat on Twitch is working just fine. And so now we're just waiting on a few interactions. We're good on YouTube. And so, yeah, we'll just wait for Kadallah to join us one more time. And I'm going to get right into sort of what you can expect from this stream. Hopefully he'll be back with us, but if not, I'm gonna take us through, and we're still gonna get to the gaming portion. So, as I already mentioned, the reason we are here is to to discuss ways that you can get your music into gaming or into VR specifically. I'm particularly passionate about that, and so I've been studying this for about a year, and I just want to set this up for you. I am not an expert. I am an enthusiast. This excites me, and I have been studying it hardcore, VR, and trying to, figuring out how to get in there and even starting to program it for the last year. But even before I got into VR, I was already trying to figure out how to make all encompassing, immersive musical experiences. Like integrating music with theater somehow and trying to bring the audience into the show. Like it's always felt a little bit strange to me to have uh me just performing to people or at people. It always feels really good, especially in my early days of hip hop, when you crowd rock and, you do the call and response. Can I get a hey, hey? Like I want y'all to be with me in this. All right. So when the pandemic hit, I was trying to figure out even deeper how to stay connected with people, how to get people involved, even though we were so far apart. So here we are. You're where you're at, I'm where I'm at, but the idea is that after I share some of my tips and pointers about where I'm coming from with it all, then we'll be able to get into some gaming a bit later if you have a VR headset. And if you don't, still, you can tune in here. It's going to be right here on this channel. You'll be able to see me play the game and do some multiplayer gameplay with people out there in the world, wherever they may be. Okay? So feel free to write a question in the chat if you have one, and I'll be happy to jump in there and try and answer it for you. We have short time, so yeah, ask early so I can get into it with you. So yeah, like I said, after a lot of studying over the last year, I have started to teach myself how to build a VR game, and I've started to collaborate with different people on that. It's a really big job. It's not the type of thing that, well, don't get me wrong, I've seen it out there. Some people have done a completely solo job of creating their own game and experience, all the way from the programming to the artwork and so forth. But after I found out how deep this work goes and how difficult coding and game design can actually be, I realized I enjoy it, but I'm not sure that I'm certain it should not be a solitary experience. So I'll just start out by saying, what do I think some of the challenges have been in all of this? Well, definitely there's a learning curve. If you're a musician, and that's your main thing that you do, you may not be interested in learning to code or I like that kind of stuff. So I started learning to code. I built myself a computer, and mainly, I would much have preferred to buy a computer, but I built one because it was cheaper. Yeah. So the learning curve is quite steep, and it's a small world. It's kind of like the music business. You have to kind of break in. You have to meet the right people, and you have to get along well with each other, and you sort of have to be skilled but also invited into the fold. So just like I did with the music business, when I figured out that I didn't want to wait too much longer to be invited to be on, say, one record label or another, I decided to make my own record label and release my own music. And that felt very empowering for me. So I guess I approached similarly this when it comes to games. So I'm very excited to say, though, there's a lovely community of people out there, game devs, game developers, uh, and different people that are working in development in general are often very gracious and friendly and love to offer advice and help you figure out things when you get stuck. So, if you're looking to get into this sort of thing for your music and to promote it, and just to have some fun, definitely start looking out for some Discord channels that you can be a part of or Slack channels. Just even if it's just to be a fly on the wall and listen in and learn by seeing other people interact. Um, so yeah, these are some of the things that present themselves as challenges, but I would like to go back to talking about the benefits. There's a ton of benefits to even just the idea of getting your music into games. Okay. Um, First of all, if you think about it, we're all making music videos already. Um, we're doing live performances, live streams, and whatnot. What if your next music video was something in VR? Now, some of you may have seen, there's plenty of artists out there that have started doing this already. But if you haven't, and this is something you're interested in, I assure you that there is hope. You can do it. And even if I've met some people, they're like, I'm not really that kind of tech person. So I say, okay, no problem. Figure out what your thing is. And there's a large community of people out there who possess the abilities that can combine with yours to create what you need. So that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing. And if you just wait for 1 second, I'm going to double check and see if I can find Kadallah again, because I seem to have lost him. And excuse me, them. Kadallah's pronoun is them. So I'm going to try to get them back. And it looks like they're on the Skype call right now, but I don't see the camera. So we'll just wait a little bit for that to come through. Yeah, so for those of you out there, if there's anybody who already has experience with game design, which I'm sure there's tons of you out there, I would love it if you would just throw a little emoji or something in the chat. Just let us know that you're here and that you're cheering us on. Give a little head nod. Yeah, everybody had to start from somewhere, and this is where we're starting from. So, soon, in about 1 month, I'll have released, and you'll all know about it because it's connected to my EP called Up in Here. I released the single a little while ago, but now it's going to be the EP, and I have remixes from all over the world. Very excited. From Steve Knotts in Philadelphia. Thanks, Steve. Okay. And we have Kadallah back joining us. Hey, I was just telling them, Kadallah, I'm so happy you're back. Hello. So I was just telling them a little bit about the fact that I have a VR app coming out, my very first one, in about a month's time. And I was just talking about like the challenges. There's like a lot of tech challenges, and team is required in order to get this sort of thing going when you're new to things like game development. So interesting that we just had our little hiccup just now. Maybe
Right.
I would love to hear from you about your experiences with VR. And also, let's speak about it. Let's just talk about tech and how many
Mhm.
things can get caught up in the process of tech.
Right, right. I mean, it's kind of funny. So in university, my major was called interactive media arts, which is like a mixture of like I don't want to say computer science, but like coding, and then media, so like media theory and research on that front, and then like technical arts. But we always have this joke about the curse of the demo day, where it's like as soon as you need to actually show off the project that you've been working on, whether it's a hardware thing or a VR demo or a presentation like this, something ends up breaking at the most crucial moment. But I mean, I think it to me, it's always been like something to take in stride, and it's something that you kind of get used to after a while. I'm glad that we were able to reconnect, though. I think that's it worked out the best case scenario.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, indeed,
yeah,
indeed. Um,
yeah.
yeah. So, can you say even a little bit more? I'm curious about. I remember you were telling me there were some companies that you had worked for. Or
Yeah, yeah. So when I was in school, my major was called interactive media arts, but my focus and my like capstone project was on narrative virtual reality. So in school, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how can we create virtual reality projects that aren't necessarily games, but still tell stories, right? But that was one half of my focus, and then the other half of my focus was like low fidelity virtual reality experiences or virtual reality experiences that don't require a lot of tech or a lot of money to make or consume. So after I graduated, I went on to start working for a company called New Reality Company and helping with setting up these exhibitions that were like highly immersive virtual reality experiences where you have like scent and heat and wind in your face, but those were all narrative virtual reality experiences. And during my time in school, I also worked for a lab called the Program on Creativity and Innovation, where I was helping other students learn about virtual reality and teaching people on that front. Um, but outside of that, I feel like my art practice has always tried to figure out how I can incorporate different kinds of artistic media into virtual reality and create experiences that aren't like again aren't necessarily games but are still compelling and interesting artistic. Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I like that you brought that up again too, because I the other day we were talking and I wanted to bring that up. Uh, Sometimes people out there, they're when we say virtual reality, they immediately go, yeah, I'm not really into gaming.
Mm-hmm,
And the
mm-hmm.
funny thing is I wasn't either when I first was starting with virtual reality. Now I am.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a lunatic with some of the games that I like now. But
Yeah.
when I started to see that there were other things possible, like documentaries, various
Mm-hmm,
types of music videos, uh, just other things that all you can do is call them experiences, right?
mm-hmm. Right, right.
Because there's like kind of no category. Oh, we have a little something in the chat. Oh, hey Joe. Hey Joe. Uh yeah, I remember Evie. Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, I would love to be in touch with Evie again. Great director of photography, and Joe, love your music too. Yeah, so yeah, so that was my idea. Is I wanted to remind people that
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to do games. But also,
Right.
I'm so excited about all the music based games that are out there. Like,
Mm-hmm,
people use
mm-hmm.
virtual reality for learning, but also for fun. So I think, what is this Tribe XR DJ school?
Yeah, Tribe XR is like probably one of like my favorite applications in VR, even outside of like the interaction itself, just because they are not only trying to make it possible for people to DJ in VR, but really capitalize on like social VR experiences in order to do things that would be impossible in the physical world, where you have like school with XR, I believe, where like you can get trained by other DJs, or you can do like back-to-back sets with somebody who's on the other side of the world. I think
Yeah.
that's just really showcases the beauty of why we should be interested in virtual reality, because you can connect with people in ways that you couldn't necessarily in the physical world.
Absolutely. And I didn't really set it up at the beginning of our session just now, but today we're going to be playing at the end of this session a multiplayer game, Synth Riders. So you can play Synth Riders alone or with up to 10 other people. And it looks like we may have lost signal with Kadallah again.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, you're
I think
back.
there might be a bit
Okay.
of a delay.
It
Okay,
just it
yeah, there
just
we go.
froze a little bit. Okay, good. I can hear you
Okay,
just fine. But your image froze for a second there, so I guess you'll be back with
yeah.
us. But I like seeing your face, so we gonna leave your face up there.
Nice.
um yeah, and so we're gonna play Synth Riders, which is like this rhythm dance game. A lot of you, if you have a headset already, you've heard of Beat Saber. That's kind of like a really popular one. There's
Mhm.
another one that I really, really am enjoying right now, and it was a gift from a friend. Uh, it's called Electronauts, and like a astronaut, but an electronaut. And so at first I wasn't so sure about that game, but then I got in there, and like as a musician myself, I actually had a lot of fun using the different samples that were somehow I guess curated by different producers. Like there's a song in there by Childish Gambino. There's a song in there by Nero. Long time, like been out there producing for a long time. Uh, and you can jam with sticks and play with friends. Yeah. Anyway, it's really
Yeah.
exciting. You can play with visuals. Me and Kadala, we wanted to stream that one. Uh, but it would have been a little bit more tech than we have to deal with Synth Riders. Synth Riders was kind of a easier gateway and more accessible, hopefully, to many of you out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In terms of music VR experiences as well, I also want to kind of highlight some really cool applications that I've seen on the SideQuest store around like music making applications as well. There's some really, really cool, innovative projects out there that like try to either replicate or augment the way that we make music through virtual reality. So there's one called like Soundstage, which is really like one of the best applications I've seen in virtual reality up to this point, because it allows you to create from an array of dozens of different kinds of instruments, some of which exist in the real world, like a piano or keyboard, and then there are also some kinds of instruments that only exist within Soundstage, and I think it's just an incredibly innovative app that like changed the way that I think about making music. And then
Oh,
another really dope one that I enjoyed and would recommend to anybody is called just Synth VR, and it's kind of like a analog synth in virtual reality space. Um, and it's also really interesting because like with these applications, it's like on one hand you're thinking about the music that you're trying to make, right? But it's spatialized in a way where even if you're not necessarily doing it for the visuals, it's like, okay, I now have like an infinite canvas of studio space where I can place like my keyboard over here, and then I can place my sampler and drums over here, and it doesn't require you to, break your back like lifting things or like buying a studio. So I found those two applications really, really interesting.
nice one. Yeah, there's so many out there. Um, I think I just, oh, for those of you who are looking to explore, like, I do acknowledge that there may be some people here that have not yet bought a virtual reality headset, or maybe you're just thinking about it and you're curious if it makes sense for you and your music. Some ways for you to get in, idea of it, of course, is, you can call a friend and say, I heard you have a VR headset. Let's play. Can I come over? Or uh, you can do a simple thing like go to Steam. Steam is like a store for games online. And specifically, you can search under VR category and even look up things like the other day, just to see what would happen. I typed in DJ in the search, and then I typed or I checked the box for VR only applications, and I
Mhm.
came up with a few. Uh, and one of them is I'm actually really curious about. I haven't tried it. It's called Alive in VR, and it's like all one word, Alive in VR, and it's a Ableton Live controller. So actually, you can be in VR and
What?
control Ableton while you're in there.
I
I
have to
want to
download
try
this.
that.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. That is so cool. I'm
Yeah.
looking it up right now. At
Yeah.
first, I thought you were going to go in a different direction. I don't know. Um, I remember a few weeks ago, uh, the world mourning the end of Daft Punk. Somebody posted that they recreated the set from the Alive tour in virtual reality. And then afterwards, also ended up releasing the stage for other people if they wanted to uh, use uh, use it for their own projects and stuff. So I thought you
Oh.
were going to say somebody had like released it on the App Store, but this sounds, it just as, if not more amazing. I can't wait to try this.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm wondering why I can't see your image. I'm gonna try and bring you back. Well,
Okay.
I can see your face. I just can't see you moving, but that would have been nice. That's cool. I think the good people can hear your voice and imagine you. So that's good. So look, okay, wow. Yeah, it's already 8:30. We still have some time, people, just to let you know. But want to make sure that we leave time for gaming. If any of you are interested in joining me and Kadallah inside VR to play Synth Riders, please write something in the chat so then that way we can give you the private room name. We're not going to just make it widely public because we want to be able to moderate a bit. So please do that, and I'm just going to double check really quick to see. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting on my end. I'm doing the OBS dance as well as uh, talking to you and talking to Kadallah. Um, there's some things that I wrote down here that I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss, though. Um, so we
Mhm.
talked about some of the games.
Mhm.
Uh, I was in while you were away for a moment, and I was waiting for you to come back. I started
Mhm.
to bring up in conversation, very kind of generally, that people kind of needed to. I mean, there's a big learning curve with this this type of work, VR and game development and things like that.
Right.
And so what would you say? Like, I already kind of gave some of my ideas to people about how to get started. But
Mhm.
if you're not really a techie, what do you
Mhm.
say? What do you say to people who are not interested in coding and
Mhm.
things like that?
I would say there are. I think before I started working with virtual reality, like I had assumed that if I were to make experiences, it would require a lot of coding experience. But I would say there's a lot of applications out there that are a lot more visual than they are like text-based coding. So like if you're using Unity, which is a game engine, or Spoke, which is like the ba- background engine for Mozilla hubs, it's really like a much more visual experience where you're placing objects within three-dimensional space. And you can do coding if you want to like add some extra levels of interactability to it. But if you're just getting started, I think it's really awesome to just kind of dip your feet in by creating environments, and that, like that's how I initially got started, was trying to figure out how can I create narratives in virtual reality just through the spaces without necessarily needing to have a lot of coding around. And I found that it was it's quite a fulfilling experience. So I definitely recommend trying that out as one way of getting started.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been working a bit with both Spoke and in Unity, and I find it a lot of fun. Okay, so uh, there's different game engines out there, like Kadallah was just saying. There's also did you already mention Unreal, or did you just say Unity and Spoke?
Yeah, I just mentioned Unity and
Okay.
Spoke, but Unreal definitely up there.
Yeah, no problem. Uh, I chose to go with Unity, so I don't know Unreal very well. I have some friends who do use that. Uh, but with that said, there's a lot of these node-based visual coding type applications that people have created to help us build. So, like,
Right,
I for instance, bought an asset called Playmaker, and
right.
even though I'm a new person when it comes to working with C# coding, uh,
Mhm.
having Playmaker allows me to kind of do a drag and drop. I still have to kind of do a little studying and understanding of how everything works, and that still takes time. But I can say it absolutely sped up my workflow. Uh,
Right.
and after getting that asset and joining the Discord, or actually not the Discord, the Slack channel, for other people who are also independently building their own applications,
Mhm.
I found a person who has a game studio, and it's a small game studio, and they also, sometimes help with consulting other people's projects. So I'm
Mhm.
actually, when I got really stuck on my game, I contacted Jinxter Games,
Jinxter.
because uh, the person that runs that is really active in the Playmaker Slack channel and has made a
Ooh,
couple of extensions. And so I'm
right.
sharing that to say that when I got really stuck, I mean, I'm a musician, I love the idea of figuring out the coding. I had to reach out
Mhm.
for help. Otherwise, it's going to take
Right.
me 5 years to finish my first game.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to echo that point about like in getting into VR development. I think it's really important to find communities of people who are working on similar projects or are working within the same tools. And it can be like intimidating at first, but I would definitely say reach out, because the people who are a part of these communities were also in your same shoes at some point and needed to reach out to somebody in order to get help.
Right.
Um, I think in the gaming worlds, there's this myth of the technical artist, who is somebody who can like do all of the coding and create all of the 3D assets and do all of the like project management for creating a project, from top to bottom. Just like creates everything within the game. And I think that it is possible to one day get to that point, but I think one, we have a lot of pressure. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to like reach that point like too soon or immediately, and then feel discouraged when we aren't able to get there. So I think like one, kind of taking these different parts of what takes making these kinds of experiences piecemeal and learning step by step is one approach. But also, like, even those people who we would consider technical artists who are creating projects by themselves, like, they have a team of support for people that they can lean on for when they have questions and need help with things, even if they're not necessarily like officially tied to that project. So I would say no virtual reality headset is an island.
Right. And speaking of virtual reality headsets, here's a little show and tell. This, everyone, I'm gonna just go to a slightly bigger screen real quick so you can see. This was my first virtual reality headset, everyone. It is a little piece of cardboard. Look, I beat it up. Look, it's broken. Well, it's not really broken. I can still use it. And I would put my phone, slide it right in there, close it back in there, and there were certain apps. A lot of them don't work so well anymore, and so I don't really use it. It's more of a decoration now, but that was my gateway. That was my gateway into VR, and yeah, actually, a friend of mine, we met kind of like through Instagram. Wanted to collaborate. She's an artist, like an animator artist, and mentioned this VR stuff to me. And I called her up and I was like, I want to do something in VR. And she's like, Do you know what you want to do? Ibella, if you're out there, hi. um, and she recommended that I do some research. She's like, in order to produce, you must consume.
Mm,
And
yeah.
even though that's such an elementary thought, if I really just kind of think about it, I'd never looked at it that way before. And I immediately was just like,
Right.
fine, I'm all in. I'm going to check it out. But first, I'm going to spend 15 bucks and see what it's about before I go spending way too much. But now we're lucky,
Right.
right? Like you have the Oculus Quest 2, I have the first one. Your second
Mhm.
generation, which is way better
Right.
than mine, was cheaper than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I, I have a lot of feelings about the whole Facebook, Oculus, uh, empire thing going on. Not to get into too deep into the politics of VR, but I would say I feel like the Quest 2 was really a move by Facebook to have like this sort of original iPhone of virtual reality, right? Where
Mm,
we had smartphones, early smartphones before the iPhone. We had the Palm Pilot as well. We had all of these personal computing devices, like small personal computing devices. But what was different about the smartphone or about the original iPhone was that it was like much more consumer ready. It was like released at a slightly cheaper price than the other ones, and it was like branded to be kind of sexy, you know. And with this Quest 2, I feel like yes, there are problems with it, and there yeah, there's some issues with it, but at the end of the day, like I think they're really trying to, in their own way, help democratize the market a little bit just by it uh, a side effect of like flooding the market with cheaper devices for people to come and
uh-huh.
purchase. So yeah, that's kind of the perspective that I've taken on the most recent Quest.
Got it. I mean, and a lot of VR enthusiasts and some of my favorite YouTubers uh, that are constantly posting about VR. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are pretty upset at this sort of monopoly that appears to
Right.
be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like it seems to me, and I want to kind of get back to the some of our point here of even coming together, which was, how do we get in the game but also keep our power? Because
Right.
if we look at big tech in general, we're talking about like Spotify or any of these apps out
Right.
there. It seems that it is more the programmers or whoever owns the patent on the company itself
Right.
that are making all the bucks, and somehow many of us musicians are just getting teeny tiny little crumbs, little
Right.
coins. Well, we're hungry and we're
Right.
creative and we're feeding the market with so much goodness and richness. Like, there's just
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how inspired I am by all the musical talent that I've been able to see from everywhere that I've ever lived or traveled to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and then I go, why where's the money going? You
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
And so I just kind of want to bring that back again, and even talking about like if we're gonna get our music into games and into VR even specifically, how can
Mm-hmm.
we turn that around to make sure that we are feeding ourselves and not just
Right.
dishing out? Because guess what's going to happen? This app and that app's going to say, pay us money, and then you can make your next music video in VR.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's exciting. But
Right.
what if I made my own thing that other
Yeah.
people could
Yeah.
also use, and then I was skipping that middleman, so to
Hmm.
speak. So I'm curious your thoughts on that. I mean, I know that both of us are not we've never run a game company, and I know there's a lot that goes into it. And now that I see how many hours goes into creating
Hmm.
these types of things, uh, I
Right.
understand that they need to get paid. But what can we do?
Right.
That's what I want to know. And I have some ideas, but I want to hear from you or anybody if they want to just share an idea out there. If you have one, drop it in there. Let us know.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say my first recommendation is, try your hardest to find like third party marketplaces to distribute your work. Because while if you publish stuff to the Oculus, especially if you're just getting started, because if you publish stuff to the Oculus store, one, you have to worry about like the amount of time that it takes for them to review it and everything. And then if at any point they ever decide that they don't like you or your app, they can take it off. I would say you're going to want to try to find as many ways to distribute it to people as possible. So I'd say check out SideQuest, check out itch.io, where I know that people are sharing their work. And those are also communities where it is communities of makers. So you're getting feedback from the people that are trying your work because they're also trying to get better at their craft, right?
Yep.
Um, I would also, I gotta rep common, rep common and currents. Like as musicians specifically, what we're trying to accomplish with common and currents are like really creating sustainable sources of income for artists and musicians. So like when people subscribe to your channel, that money is going directly to you, except for the little bit that the credit card company is taking. Like the money goes directly from the subscriber to the artist. And there really is no other platform out there like that for creators, right? And with Common, the really cool and unique thing is that you can stream the projects that you're working on. So right now, if you notice, going back into the lobby, there is an event that's been going on through the duration of Common called I think it's created by Trash Panda, and that's like a web VR experience that you are able to experience like directly within Common. So it is possible to do those kinds of experiences, and yeah, so those are my two like top recommendations.
Cool.
I think right now there's a lot of like conversation and hype around like NFTs, and I think there are the environmental concerns around NFTs that are made with like proof of work validation using blockchains, but there are some options out there that are less ecologically damaging that might be worth investigating. I have friends like that I know personally who have made thousands of dollars from 3D art that they've created, and while this is still kind of gray area, it looks like you still retain all of the rights to the work that you've created when somebody buys your work on an NFT. It turns out that it's just like
Got it.
they're buying the token itself, not
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
rights to the work itself. So
Yeah.
that's one way of keeping your power while getting paid for the work that you're doing.
Yeah. Totally. Um alt in alt currency is extra on the rise right now too.
Right, right.
um
Yeah.
yeah, and I would just say again the whole DIY thing, that's how I've been kind of footing it through life. It's like, okay, I see what's going on over there and I want to get in, but somehow I haven't found how to get my pinky toe in the door. And so instead, I build my own little thing and then I have a door that I can open and close or leave open. Um,
Right, right.
yeah. And I really love the currents and common community. Like everybody's been so cool and down to earth and cooperative. And that's just the kind of artist community that I think is necessary. Another artist community I belong to is also Factory Berlin. I can honestly say, especially and Sandira, if you're out there, thank you always for your support. But that's also another area where, by being part of sort of a local Berlin tech community, I can ask questions when I don't know something, and get advice from people who are starting things up or in incubator type situations. So if anything, I say, for those of you out there who are musicians who definitely want to try something new, you can do it. Just definitely reach out and make friends, rub elbows. And the cool thing about tech stuff is everybody's online. And right now, that's where it's at. It's kind of online, or uh, what is it? Clubhouse, or something like this.
Right, right. Yeah.
So now's the time. You can do it. And if anything, I say just make sure you're having a blast while you do it, which is what we're going to do. Because right about now, it's already time for us to start switching over to in-game. So it might just be you and me, Kadallah, because nobody has written specifically that they want to join us in the game. But
Okay.
before we would wrap this up, do you think that you let's see. Well, do you have any final final statements or words before I step away? Or actually, you can chit chat. I'm gonna need everybody to hang out with Kadallah for a second, because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to switch into VR and over into my mixed reality setup and
Right.
start up the room. And so, Kadallah, the room is, you'll know the room, but it's not exactly the same name as before, but I'm going to write it in the chat right now.
Okay,
So,
in the Skype chat.
I'm going to actually write it in YouTube chat.
Okay.
Or and Skype chat. I'm gonna write it to you in Skype chat too. So, those of you out there, if you have VR headsets, get ready, cause now's the time. And I'll just say it out loud, but basically, the room name that I have already put together, or might have to restart because my headset's been sitting for a while, is
Nice.
Sky, and then Dalla, Dalla. So
Hey.
SKY space Dalla.
Yeah, there we
um,
go.
and let's see, maybe I can.
Cool. Did people see me as well, or
People
just
are
hear me?
seeing your image, but not a moving image of you. So I
Okay.
am right now. You might still hear my voice, but I have just put only your face up there.
Okay.
And I'm going to try one more thing to see if I can get a moving picture of you.
Okay.
Let's see. But then you can also just have a chit chat. I'm going to mute myself for a moment, and I'm going to work on that.
Okay. Cool. No worries. Yeah. So I'm super stoked to play this game right now. I downloaded Synth Riders for the first time not too long before um, we had this session, and it is easily one of the most fun games I've played in virtual reality. So I am excited to play right now. One of the really cool things about a lot of the music and rhythm games that you find on virtual reality platforms right now is that a ton of them allow you to create your own custom songs. And that's actually what compelled me to finally like push the button when it came to getting the Quest 2 is because I was like, man, like I want to be making my own music and then creating experiences for people to play them in these rhythm games. Because to me, that feels like it changes the whole game in terms of what it means to play music, right? Play music with somebody else. So yeah, that's something I would definitely recommend checking out. Um, yeah, but as Sky gets ready, I'm also going to start getting ready. Um, you know, as you can see, I have some a lot of hair on my head, and a lot of times when I talk to other Black folks about like getting into VR, people will say, "Yeah, but like, what about my hair?" Right? And I agree, it's been a struggle for a really long time. And then I discovered when my friend gave me my first do-rag for my birthday the other day, and I found that it is exactly what I needed to get into VR more efficiently. It keeps the hair out of the headset, compresses things in a way that makes it a lot more comfortable. So anybody out there listening who has a lot of hair like me, definitely try getting a do-rag. Yeah, so I'm gonna start setting up on that front. Oh, no, it's okay. Let's see. Cool, cool. All right, all right, all right. And then I'm gonna start setting up the headset itself. Let's see how we get this going. All right. Yeah, so I mean, back when I first started in virtual reality, like the setup process was like half the job. You know, you had to get like a really beefy computer, and then you had to have all of these cables that were connected, and like if one of them didn't work, then you had to start over and like test everything back again. And I mean, even when I was working with New Reality Company, it was like, we'd go on these exhibitions and we'd bring a bunch of headsets with us, and it was like we would need to test like 5 times before we got there, test 5 times before people started using it when we actually did get there. And it was a hassle. And I do think that at that time, after I worked for New Reality for a little bit, I took a slight break from virtual reality just because I kind of felt like, well, I want to be creating experiences that everybody can access, but it's really hard for me to justify that when you have to own a really expensive or powerful computer in order to experience the things that I'm creating. Of course, it's possible to do web VR experiences and 360 experiences and stuff, but at the time, web VR was still in its infancy, and right now we've reached a new level of fidelity in web VR, but then that wasn't the case. But then when this Quest 2 was released and it was like
Kadallah, just
powerful enough to
quickly
run
checking in with you
some
real quick.
pretty
I don't know if
intense
you can see me out here, but
applications. Um,
I'm almost set up, so I'm gonna switch it to the other screen if you already want to switch onto your headset.
okay, okay, gotcha. I'm setting it up right now. Sounds good. Um, yeah. And then the Quest 2 was released, and it felt like finally I had the ability to um, enter into these experiences and share these experiences with people in a really efficient way. So the Quest 2, I just flew from LA to Nairobi, and it fit in my carry-on. That's not something you'd be able to say just a few years ago.
Hey, everybody. So, for those of you that are still tuning in, you should be able to hear my voice. I am getting set up inside of VR. Actually, I already am. Check out me and Kadallah inside VR. We'll see you in a moment. Let's see here. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. I'm here. And I just need to double check the calibration on my controllers to make sure that they're working properly in game. And then, yeah, I already see Kadallah is in the room here with me, so you might hear a little bit of the game audio in the back. I'm going to mute that so that you just hear my voice now, so that's cool. So just bear with us, but stick around. It's going to be maybe about 5 minutes or so where I am just setting my settings for the best possible game experience. Yeah, so just want my controllers to line up properly again. That shouldn't be hard. So, I spent lots of hours at home doing this sort of thing, driving my partner crazy because I'm always doing some nutty professor kind of business. So, my controllers are not perfectly on, but it's pretty close. I can hear you. Let's see. Can you hear me? Okay, so, right, and now the good people out there can hear everything in game as well as you and me. So, Kadallah, can you hear me? Everybody, there's Kadallah right there. You can see it. See them?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't think your audio is coming through Synth Riders.
Okay, let me double check my audio settings. Inside the game, master audio, note hood. I hear myself, okay. Yeah, it should be fine.
But no worries. I can also hear you through Skype.
Okay, good. So,
yeah.
There we go. And now I'm going to go pick a song. So for people out there who have never played this game, when we're in the multiplayer settings, it's really a lot of fun because we get to throw each other curveballs. So we play as normal. Oh, my controllers look off again, so I'll have to get those back on. So we'll see. But I'm going to turn up my audio. So, I'm going to pick something. Kadallah, do you have any song requests or style requests?
Do you want to do Empires? The one that we played yesterday?
Empires. Okay. Was that under... I'm trying to remember which... Empire of Steel? This one?
Is it Empires of Steel? It's kind of like the same style or same genre as what we're hearing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking. I think I know what you mean, but I just don't remember the name. Let's see. Nope. I can't remember the pack. All right, well, let's just, because you said Empire, I'm going to start with that one for now, and then we'll go back to some of the others. Just to warm up. All right. Still with me? Okay, I lost Kadallah for a second. I'm going to wait for him to come back. Yeah, so for those watching in, I'm streaming on Twitch right now as well as on Facebook. And I'm just waiting on Kadallah to join me one more time because it looks like their call dropped. And then I'm just gonna double check that I have, let's see. What I'm trying to do is make sure that my controllers are lined up properly. And I'm gonna get rid of this Skype call because it's glitching us up and making everything lag much more than we want. Okay. So bear with me 1 second, but this is how it goes, people. This is what we talk about. We talk about the tech, getting it together. So that's what I'm doing. Making sure. See, look, my controllers are not
Riders
quite
ready.
on. Oh, good. You're back. You're back. 1 second.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
I'm back here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
But I don't hear you, unfortunately.
Okay.
On the mic speaking thing, it's showing that you're not talking. But here I am.
I'm talking now, but I just have to save my controller. Okay. Let's try and play. I know you can't. Can you hear me? Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, I really like this one too.
Let's try and play it. Let's try. Here we go. You playing with me? Alright. So, Kadallah can't hear me right now, but I just thought I would play real quick just to make sure that those who are watching can see how this game goes. If you're still with us, thank you for tuning in. I just put it kind of on the normal mode right now, just to warm up. So I am experiencing a little bit of game lag. But that's because I'm working my little hand-built computer as hard as she will run. Yeah, you're back. Get in the game. Oh, I'm missing the mark here. Sending curveballs your way, new player, whoever you might be. So as soon as I finish this song, I'm gonna join you. All right. Hey. Ah. Yeah. Okay. Woo. I hope my computer can catch up with all the action. So I just learned today that I am absolutely pushing this game to the ultimate limit that my computer can handle it. So it's possible that you may see some lag on the stream out there. If so, I apologize. But I'm open to donations for a better graphics card so that I can stream more content like this for you. It brings me great joy. Okay, so I heard some people joining, so let's see what we got. Okay. All right, maybe not. I'm gonna pick another song in the meantime. So my audio is glitching. I'm gonna check my computer real quick to see if I've got any correspondence from Kadallah. Okay. All right, everybody, just hang on 1 second. I'm gonna be right back, and I'm gonna try and get this stream going again.
Hey.
Hey,
Sky.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Do you see me, Sky?
I hear you.
Cool. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Oh, that is so weird.
But I'm ready to go when you are.